Salutations, mortals and children of the night. I am the Vampire Otaku. Welcome to my channel. So as you know, it's March, and for this month, I was planning on reading my books that have the word March in the name. And the first book that I want to talk about for this month is going to be March Comes In Like a Lion. This manga and anime is absolutely incredible, and I just really enjoyed the dynamic and emotion and the shift in tone towards the end of the chapters of the first volume. Unfortunately, this is the only volume that we have available right now in English, but if you've never heard the series, it's a really good one to get into. At first, it starts off a little slow and it has a snowball effect. It just builds up on the emotion, the character development, and the art is absolutely gorgeous. The line work, the shading, the realism, and my favorite thing about the art is the facial expressions. There doesn't need to be a lot of writing to convey emotion within the panels. Like, the character's face will tell you exactly how they feel. Here's the cover. Dimpa always does a nice job with their releases, has the French flaps, and it's just an overall high quality book. Let's talk about it. So our main character, Rei, is basically a shogi prodigy, and the easiest way I can explain shogi is similar to chess, but it's more Japanese in its heritage and style. The pieces generally have a similar shape versus chess, where many pieces have different shapes. But overall, your objective is to capture the king. Same in chess. I really like this manga because as you're reading through the chapters, you have a professional shogi player telling you in more detail about the sport of shogi, how it feels to be a professional, how they get paid. They get paid once a month. And when you're at the top of your range, at the height of your career, if you're winning a lot and ranking up in the rankings, how many games you play versus when you just turn pro. When you just turn pro, you only play a few games per month. And as you get higher in the ranks, you play more and more and more. Our main character, Rei, is a high school student who is completely self-sufficient. He has his own apartment, takes care of himself, makes his own food, and he's living off of his money as a professional shogi player. And you just see him kind of struggling with adult life when not being an adult, buying toilet paper and buying food and rationing how much money he has for rent. And it's kind of mundane things, but through the perspective of a 16-year-old, which is really cool. And then you have a few friends of his that he made by accident that really help him out. They think they're helping him physically, with food, they're cooking and conversation, but they're really helping him emotionally figure out how to navigate the loneliness of adulthood, doing it early. And I really like the dynamic between him and her family, her little sisters. They're going through their crushes and not feeling adequate in their daily lives and their school lives. And Rei is just there in the middle, learning and figuring everything out and comparing it to his own life and how rough he's had it. Even though he's self-sufficient, he can take care of himself, and he's a prodigy when it comes to shogi, he has his struggles, and they really show towards the end of this volume. You learn his backstory, the crippling depression that he's going through, and also you learn how he really truly feels about shogi and why he's doing it. And if you don't want spoilers, I advise you to stop the video now. But if you don't mind, I'd like to talk about the key things that really make this volume interesting, dynamic, and heartwarming that happened probably in the last 2 or 3 chapters. Our main character, Rei, lost both of his parents in, I believe, a car accident, and he got adopted. He got abducted. Oh my God, adopted by a man who is really into shogi, and he's a professional shogi player. And that started him on his shogi journey. And his children also want to be professional shogi players. And basically, this man, he's not a mean-spirited person, but he's so wrapped up in the sport that the only way you can connect with him, the only way that you can get the time of day from him is either talking about shogi or playing with him. And Ray craved that affection and connection so much that it pushed him to become a prodigy, to become a professional shogi player. He got the connection that he craved, but at the expense of upsetting the man's biological children, who lashed out at him, alienated him, and just made him feel extreme amounts of guilt for essentially taking away their dad. So now our main character Ray is going through guilt, shame, and fear that his desires have caused the family to be torn apart. The ghost of that situation still haunt him, even though he's on his own and living his own life. They pop up from time to time, mostly in the older sister, who's very volatile and very aggressive towards him, and just nasty overall how she treats him. That's basically the first volume. There's a lot of beautiful information about shogi, amazing art, amazing shading, like I said before. There's a few metaphors and similes of how the main character Ray is affected by bodies of water, how calming it is to see rivers and lakes and streams. And there's a lot of comedy in here. By the way, this is the same mangaka that did Honey and Clover, which is also an amazing, beautiful manga and anime series. I highly recommend that, as well as this manga right here. With that being said, I can't wait to read the next manga and talk to you about it as we get through this interesting month of March. Here in Minneapolis, it's been really warm and it's kind of unusual. I'm expecting a blizzard and I'm getting sunny weather. As you can see, the sun pouring through the window, giving us all this beautiful natural light. Very happy about it, but very confused. Climate change is real, folks. With that being said, thank you so much for checking out another video. If you haven't already, subscribe. It'll help me out a lot. I'm trying to get to 500 so I can maybe start a podcast with some friends and talk about manga and anime. And also, it just feels good. Numbers are awesome. I appreciate the love and support. And as always, peace.